Okay, so now we tackle two little projects that are kind of part of the putting back together process here. The first one's actually more of a pet peeve, less of a project. But if you saw the little montage that we had earlier, you saw that the A-Class team had to end up cutting and welding a new frame rail for this side. I kind of assumed that that was going to happen from the first time we saw it all crunched up. I mean, seriously, I have no clue how anybody would have been able to straighten that out. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of magicians out there that can do that, but I knew that that was going to end up to that. So if you saw the frame rail that we welded on, it's actually a white part. So I'm going to be all like real anal about this, and I don't want to open up my hood and see that white piece of frame rail in there. So I'm actually going to spray down with primer, and I actually went to paintscratch.com and got a little bit of hell wrap in a paint in a spray can, and I'm actually going to spray it in there. Obviously we don't need any clear or anything like that. I just literally want it to look red, maybe even darker, because this car's paint is a little faded inside, obviously, so it's never going to match, but I'd rather see a little bit of darker red than white in there, and that's just me, my own pet peeves. So anyway, the second project has to do with the AC system. So now we're going to be replacing the dryer. I have a new dryer already, so what's going to happen is I'm going to take that dryer out, and I need to measure the amount of oil that's in there right now. So I bought a little measuring container, so we're going to pour the amount of oil that's currently in the dryer, so that way we know exactly how much oil we need to put in once we get our AC system back together. So, and actually we're going to do a full AC system here, so hopefully that'll help you guys out too, so you realize that you don't have to pay those ridiculous prices for AC work. And it's actually just really easy with a couple components that you can buy at Harbor Freight. So that'll be something that's coming right up, hopefully right before the rebuild is complete here. So we'll see. You're gonna see a little bit of us first standing down that frame rail. Second of all, we're gonna be removing that and kind of hooking up all the wiring back into the condenser and all that stuff. So that'll be our next steps. So we'll see. Okay, so I sanded it down and sprayed it, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised how it matched the original paint color. Obviously it's still a little wet, but it actually met my expectations. I actually thought I was going to be a little let down by it, but it looks pretty good. So I won't go nuts now when I open up that hood, and just turned out pretty good. I mean, obviously you can see the weld seam, but it looks really good from up here. I'm digging it. Okay, so I forgot one little detail. Since I'm going to be working with the AC hoses and AC lines, every time that I touch a new hose, I'm going to replace the AC O-ring. So make sure you get one of these O-ring replacements. You don't want to have to have a leak or anything like that afterward, because most of the time these AC systems stay, nobody ever messes with them until they're few years, 20 years old. So these things are going to be brittle, so make sure that you change them up. So just another one that I forgot to say. So alright, so now that this is out, I'm going to take my handy dandy measuring cup and dump the oil in here and see roughly where we're at. So let's check this out. Which at this point is apparently nothing. What the heck? Huh. That's a first. so this may or may not be a wise decision, but I figured, you know, oil came out, so I'm gonna just put the dryer in. Worst thing that can happen is that eventually, a month, a week, a day after I put it in, I'm gonna have to replace the compressor and the dryer all over again. But I'm gonna say it was working. It was evacuated before, so crossing my fingers. We'll see. New one. The funny part is you can see where the other one was bent, and I always thought that these brackets came separate, that they were part of the that you had to buy them separately. So I'm kind of glad they came in because yeah, see, you can tell there's no way that that shape would have ever, you know, I'd have to do some serious like banging to get this back into shape. Someday I'll learn to organize myself. I'm looking for a box of little clamps that I bought a few days ago. I got them in. I have no clue where I put them. So now I'm busy tearing the freaking garage apart because I can't find the one thing I need to just finish up the AC, the radiator. Organize. I think that's the word of the day. Yeah, I suck at organizing. I actually put it where it should have gone in my pegboard. So, still, I guess the word is still organized. But dang, I suck at this crap. Okay, so I got a little further than I thought I would, and I went ahead and kind of went for it. I went ahead and put in the expansion tank, the new expansion tank right here. I reused my old radiator. The only thing I saw was that it's kind of bent right here. But then again, you know, it was running and it was saying that it was cooling correctly. So again, another risk I'm taking here today, but you know, hey, why not? No guts, no glory, right? So I went ahead and put in the new hoses that I hope you can see well here. Let me see if I can change this a little bit so it'll be a little brighter. There it goes. So you should be able to see the hose, the new hoses right here and a little under there. I'm actually going to see if I can fill it up and try to start it up. It's been a few months since I've took it apart, so I'm crossing my fingers that, you know, no crazy new issues present themselves, especially after pretty much a whole, you know, cooling system rebuild there. So we'll see if it gets running, because now I don't want to risk in putting everything back together and then having to take it all apart if there's anything missing. So cross my fingers. There, like that. Dirty fingers. Anyway, all right. See you soon. All right, so I've gotten a little further than I even thought possible. Radiator's in, coolant's in. It's time to bleed this thing right now. So the whole point, we got to fire it up to let it kind of run the coolant through its system. I'm kind of like itching about starting it up, just because it's been a while since I've started it up. So I'm hoping that everything's in place and no weird noises, because then the troubleshooting phase begins, and I don't want to get to that. Seriously, I'm hoping it just fires right up. So I'm crossing my fingers and let's see what happens. I'm back and I'm hyped. Figured we already had success, the car's already running, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and do the IC unit. So for that, all you're gonna need is a few things from Harbor Freight. First thing being, most important thing, vacuum pump. Should be $100 and some change. You're also gonna need some gauges, freon, and most importantly, that tap that's there. Because without that, you're not going to be able to connect it to this unit. So those are the items. That one I actually got on Amazon, so I don't know if Harbor Freight has it. Maybe, probably, if they have this, they should have this little tap. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, hook, wire everything up, and then when we come back, you're going to see everything, where it goes, and what we're going to do at that point. I'm going to walk you step by step through that. Okay, we are back. Now we have our vacuum pump connected there. The yellow line, so you can see, it's going to go into the vacuum pump itself. Okay. The high pressure line is the one that's going to be right here on newer models. It's funny because I noticed that my 93 325 actually has it right next to the low pressure line, which is right there. So I don't know, I guess they had a design change at some point. But anyway, in this case, you see the low pressure line right there. Then what we're going to do, we're going to go back up here, look at the gauges, and we're going to make sure that we open both sides maximum here. Okay. Now that they're both completely open, we're going to turn on the pump, and we're actually going to wait a half hour. Actually, we're going to head and turn it on right now so you can see something real quick. We have to make sure that you're going to get negative pressure here, and this will, you'll see as well, we'll get a little bit of negative pressure as soon as we turn it on. Alright, you can see the gauges right there, pulling negative pressure, both of them. Okay, so that's a good sign. So all we do right now is wait for 30 minutes. That's my bare minimum. I don't go any less than 30 minutes, just to make sure that all the moisture in the system's completely out. And I will see you back in 30 minutes, and I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, here we are 30 minutes later. The pump is still running, but I want to draw your attention over here because here are the steps. I messed this up like the first couple times I did it, so you know, hopefully you guys won't have this issue in the future. I'm trying to focus on this and I don't know why it doesn't want to focus today. Okay, so while the pump is still running, now is where you shut these off, because that way what you're doing is you're locking the pressure, the negative pressure, in place right there. So right there. All right. And then we shut it off. When we shut this off, you're gonna notice that it's holding the negative pressure. And the key right now is, this is the point where, there you go. This is at the point where you're gonna see if you have a leak or anything like that. So now we wait the whole, 5 minutes just in case, double check. It should remain steady right where it's at. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna detach the yellow cable from the vacuum pump, and we're gonna connect it to our AC refill can right there. And we'll be back. Okay, so here we are again. I turn on the car. The AC is actually off right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the can and feed everything through, so we know that it's gonna get pressure all the way up to here. And then we're gonna slowly open the low side. We're never gonna do anything with this will remain closed because you can't ever fill up through the high side, but we're gonna keep the low side open completely once we know that this is flowing, and then with the negative vacuum it's gonna start pulling in all the freon into the system. We noticed that right here on this little sticker right there, sorry, it's kind of illegible right now, but it says you need 1.82 pounds of this. Obviously you can tell that this is 12 ounces. So we're gonna need, a can and 6 ounces of this. So it'll be, hopefully very straightforward. Póntame aquí, apúntame. Ponme la bata esta. Ahí. Okay, and here we're just gonna shake it like this. We're never gonna tip this over. We're just gonna keep shaking until everything gets absorbed. And right now it's getting really cold, and we're gonna slowly keep shaking until this whole can goes, and then we're gonna lock it back up so we can get in the second can, the second 6 ounces that we're missing. Alright, so I'm going to switch out these cans now. This one's completely empty now, and we have to get the extra 6 ounces from the other one. So first thing I'm going to do is completely tap this one off so it keeps trying to suck from the other end. Okay? And then I'm going to go up to our gauges and shut our blue valve off completely. And then when I plug in the new can, then I'm going to do it backwards. I'm going to open there first, and then I'm going to open this one. So it's kind of like the process we're going to use right now. Let's see if we can get this. You can see some of it, but this is already closed. I'm going to close here. Make sure you open it all the way again, because remember, this thing has a point right here that's going to penetrate the new can, because if you don't, then it's going to pierce it and you're going to be out of can here. Alright, so where's that? Hook this up here. And just like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be backwards now. Actually, no, never mind. It's not going to be backwards. Because then we have to do this all the way down to pierce the can, the seal. And then we're going to open it up all the way so it starts flowing. You're going to feel the line just kind of bounce immediately. And then we can open this up again. so we can hopefully get the last few ounces. There was another thing that I wanted to point out. If for some reason you're gonna see that this thing starts freezing up to the point where it literally becomes almost a solid, have a little bowl with water around here, so you can just leave this here with warm water, and that way you're kind of stirring, and this will kind of soften it up and melt it, and hopefully, you know, get this thing flowing nicely again. Alright, as you can tell, I'm dressed completely different than I was last time. You're gonna see something odd. Before we edit, we cut forward to this moment right now. I was really quiet, real silent. I was freaking the hell out because for the first time ever, my gauge is here. And you know, I don't know if you guys have read this before, but the high pressure is supposed to be 4 to 5 times what the low pressure is. Realistically, it never exceeds 200 psi on the high side, and the low side, from my experience, has always been 20 or 40 psi. Well, as I'm charging everything up, I'm looking at this thing, and the low side went past 120. The high side was going up to near 400. So I shut that thing down so quick because I don't know what the heck was going on. So I finally figured out after, you know, lots of research and some shipping that, yeah, this thing wasn't working. So I didn't realize that, so I had to pick up a new one and wait for this thing to get shipped. So, and sure enough, that's exactly as you can hear it when it kicks in. It go right now. I don't think you guys may be able to see this, but the low pressure will end up going to about 40 psi. This kicks in, drops back down to 20, and you see it going down right there. And that kind of maintains the stability. So, hey, I guess I'm not perfect. I'm learning it as well as you guys here. So, I'm pretty sure some of you already knew that. But you know, hey, I'm not a pro at this, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So cool. And one of the things that I wanted to correct as well. I had mentioned that it was about 16 ounces that we needed of freon in this thing. My math is sucking right now. So, but I'm ready to tag right here, and it was actually 825 grams, which is actually about 29 ounces or so. So it's 2 cans and 5 ounces of the next one. So, so the procedure's it's correct, but it's actually 2 whole cans and 5 ounces. So those are the things that I wanted to kind of clarify. It's actually running really well. Our high side right here is actually kind of nice and even, 110 psi or something like that. So it's actually doing really great. Inside, it's a good, I think it feels like 40 degrees right now. Although obviously it says 60 on the, you know, on the onboard computer. But we're done with our AC, and we're on to the next step where I think we're gonna just throw caution to the wind, and we're gonna start trying to paint our front grille. Ever since we did that little frame piece, I got excited, and I think we can do it. So today, we're gonna see if we can start doing that. We'll see how that goes.